What is going on, YouTube? This is Jim, back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about Blizzard Entertainment, Heroes of the Storm, and why stock prices really do matter. Now, I am a huge Blizzard fan. This entire room, even the Sindragosas on either side of me and the Heroes banner, which are always persistent in my camera shots, should give you any indication that I do love Blizzard Entertainment. I have very fond memories of Blizzard Entertainment games, and I will defend them up until recently, I would say, as one of my absolute favorite video game companies that consistently deliver quality products time and time again. Whether you love them or you hate them, Blizzard games continually evolve and continuously add new features and new functionalities. A Blizzard game goes farther than any other game I've played. Diablo 2 I played for almost 10 years. Diablo 3 is 6-7 years old at this point. I am still actively playing it. A lot of these games have a long shelf life, and as a fan who appreciates the time Blizzard takes to put into their quality products, sometimes you gotta wait a little bit longer, but as a fan, I do appreciate it, and I will support the company as long as I can, and as long as they continue to do good things. But we have run into a bit of a conundrum now, and I did a video on the Diablo Immortals, actually a very popular video for me, had over 30,000 hits, which for me was phenomenal. That was really cool. Litany of comments, most of them negative about Blizzard, saying they are not fans of Diablo Immortal. But as a whole, macro looking back, from that point to now, Activision Blizzard is in serious trouble. Their stock is down almost 45% at the time of this recording since that fateful BlizzCon back in early November. 45%. That's basically half the equity in the company evaporated. Now, I don't think we can solely attribute this to the negative backlash over Diablo Immortal, because keep in mind that Blizzard is one half of Activision Blizzard. The problem is, with this stock going down, it is clear that Activision is starting to put the squeeze on what Blizzard was, and they're trying to get a quick buck back from Blizzard, and that's starting to impact me as a lifelong Blizzard fan, because the Blizzard I knew and the games that I grew up with that care and that polish and that real meticulous attention to detail, is very quickly being eradicated, and it's evaporating, and we are left with a kind of get-rich-quick company, and I feel that we are going in that direction, and it worries me. Now, there's already been a lot of problems with some of the products that Blizzard has put out as of late. The Diablo Rise of the Necromancer expansion pack only included a playable character in the Necromancer. It didn't include any other additional content. And I can tell you, from being a lifelong fan of Diablo, that is very uncharacteristic to pay $15 solely for a character. Now, I love the Necromancer. I am currently working through him in Season 15. I actually just beat the main game, so now I'm going to start doing some of the rift hunting and start leveling up my character for some of the better loot. But there wasn't a lot of meat to that expansion. Obviously, it was just a character, and that is not typical Blizzard Entertainment product. Heroes of the Storm, a game that I used to really love, but have really lately fallen out of love with, primarily due to a lot of rapid changes in the game that are probably not very well thought out, all now seem to funnel to get-rich-quick schemes. When you play, they've changed what used to be a stim pack, which was a boost of gold and experience in your game, has now been replaced with a boost. And in the score screen, it will show you what your experience is before and after a boost with a Buy It Now button right in your face. So if you had a really good game and you think you're going to get a large amount of experience for a character, and maybe even more so with a boost, they're throwing it in your face. Those purchases could be retroactive as of that game. And it is yet another price tag that they're dangling in front of us, and it's not typical Blizzard. I've never seen that before. And it really reeks of this Activision get-rich-quick loot box thing that Destiny ultimately devolved into. And I think that it's starting to really hurt Blizzard. Now, sticking with Heroes of the Storm, my beloved Hero Championship series, where they have the Hero Championship throughout the whole year, crowning a winner at BlizzCon, has yet, as of December 11th, 2018, announced plans for a following season. Announcers have departed and gone on to other games. I still maintain that Gilly, even though she says she left of her own accord, it seems to me either she got fired or got tired of leaving. Now, whether you like Gilly Weed or not is irrelevant, but the fact is she has been a staple of the Heroes of the Storm for a very long time. And when you start to see major shift in name recognizable casters, it makes you wonder what's going on. I'm seeing a lot of posts here, screenshots from famous HGC players asking what is going on. And these are players that have dedicated their esports career to this game, and they have established a league for themselves, and they practice, and they work on sponsorships, and they tour around the country playing in different venues, hopefully ultimately culminating in a BlizzCon tournament with a pretty large prize pool. But there has been yet anything what's going on, and this does tie back to those budget cuts that I think Activision Blizzard is going to have to face because their stock is down 45%. So unfortunately, it's a revolving problem, and it just seems to feed off itself. When you have a bad game, the player count goes down. When the player count goes down, the revenue goes down. When the revenue goes down, all the ancillary things that we would expect, all those development dollars behind the scenes start to go down. Now, Blizzard used to be a very, very, very profitable company, thanks largely to World of Warcraft, which at one point had over 13 million active players. And I remember playing Rise of the Lich King and absolutely being blown away by what World of Warcraft was and how exciting it was. But over the years, I grew up and I started playing other games, and I realized that it didn't make sense for me to invest a monthly fee in a single game, as epic as that game was. When I got my Xbox, my PlayStation, now with Game Pass, you start to look at what a subscription cost will get you, and the value is much greater for something like Origin Premier or Xbox Game Pass or the monthly subsidized rate of PlayStation Plus, for example, with those free games, as opposed to a single game in World of Warcraft. Well, I'm not the only one that feels this way. Warcraft has really dropped down to the part that they don't really even produce numbers anymore. Best count is probably somewhere in the 2 to 3 million range, although that number does fluctuate depending on some of the new content patches and some of the new DLC that is hyped up. Obviously, when new DLC comes out, everybody surges back in. They play for a month or two, and then they move on to other things. But my point is that monthly cash cow that was World of Warcraft has largely evaporated. So when you look at the remaining Blizzard properties, where are they going to generate revenue? It's clear that they're starting to throw in these goofy boost systems into Heroes of the Storm, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it work its way into some of the other games where they're starting to sell more cosmetic stuff or $15 characters without any real additional content or map packs. What you're starting to see, I feel, is the over-monetization in an effort to make up for this loss and profit, and that is the wrong way to go about things. Blizzard Entertainment has built a very healthy, very generous community, spending upwards of $200 on these tickets to go to BlizzCon. I flew across the country 3 separate times with my wife from Orlando all the way to Los Angeles. We planned our annual family vacation around a 2-day video game conference, just to give you an idea of how loyal or crazy of fans we are. And I'm not the only one doing this, but I can tell you that as Blizzard begins to lose money, thanks to themselves or Activision, obviously Destiny a big part of this, and the fail of Destiny 2. But my point is as you start to see this stock price go down and investors starting to worry and pull out even more, you're going to see additional lashback from the ups, the higher ups, to say, hey, wait a minute, we can't be spending money on things that aren't being profitable. And Halo Championship Series, Halo on the Mind, obviously, I just went through this not too long ago with 343 Industries pulling the plug on Halo 5, but on the Hero Global Tournament and on StarCraft competitive stuff, it's not as profitable as it once was, and maybe even losing money. And, what was that beloved game, that Smash Brothers of Blizzard, that all-star coalition game that pulls in characters from all our franchises and puts them into a giant universe to fight it out in these really articulated, very detailed maps with very Blizzard-like elements, just are starting to lose that zest and that appeal, and it's really, really unfortunate. So as I sit back and watch the news, or lack of news rather, that the Heroes tournament doesn't seem to be happening this year, And I start to see a lot of these other games start to take a quick turn, like the Diablo Immortals of the world, and make that quick buck. And with Heroes of the Storm injecting that quick, hey, you want to get some more experience? Give us a couple bucks. It worries me that my once beloved company is really starting to fall apart here. And I know I've done some other videos on this, but it's really starting to see a much bigger picture now. What was just initial disdain for Diablo Immortal has definitely spilled out into Blizzard as a whole. And I think it's something that we need to be mindful of. And I really wouldn't be surprised to see if additional cuts change, and if additional cuts occur, and if additional content patches change in a much more negative light, because I feel like this problem is not going to get better anytime soon. Blizzard was founded on the belief of taking time to make quality games that mattered, with rich characters and vibrant worlds. That's how we fell in love with Jim Raynor, and that's how we fell in love with Deckard Cain, and that's how we fell in love with Thrall. But what's going to happen is, as we start to cash out and grab what we can grab on the way out the door, which is why I think Activision Blizzard is starting to transition into, you're going to lose that goodwill, and you're going to lose that nurtured, cultured environment that you once had. You're going to replace it with the quick, get rich, hey, let's make a couple bucks on these small little microtransactions. Let's really shift the focus of the company. And I think you're going to see those once meaningful, prosperous characters that brought a lot of value and really made a lot of people really sympathize with these characters. I think you're going to see that start to devolve, and that really does bum me out. So to me, that's the state of what's going on with Activision Blizzard, obviously with a much more focused look specifically on Heroes of the Storm, but I think you're going to see it spread across the other Blizzard properties, and for that, I am really, really sad. I think the Blizzard we once knew is gone, and I think that unless drastic changes are going to be made anytime soon, I think they're going to be really, really gone. And with that, I'm going to close out this video, and I thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment below. Let me know if I'm way off base here. These are more polarizing videos that I do. You have the diehard fanboys who've already downvoted this based on the title. You have true Diablo Immortal haters who are going to like this video after a second and say how much Diablo Immortal sucks. But if you made it to the end, congratulations. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your support. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.